Warning: the following video has not been approved by the Comic Code Authority and is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Comic Assassin. It's Friday. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I'm going to let you guys know what books I picked up this week, and we're also going to be reviewing two different books. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. So first off, some of the dollar books that I got. How to get the reprint of Batman 497 dollar comic. Picked that one up. This one was actually free. They had some of these laying around. There's the Harley Quinn Day, celebrating the 25th anniversary. I picked that up. Some of the back bin books I picked up. Here is Terror Inc. number 7. And I just got it because of the cover. Got the Punisher stuff going on. I'm loving me that yellow in there. And then Silver Surfer number 1. Now this is volume 2 or volume 3, I believe, depending on how you are treating the volumes of Silver Surfer. But I'll pick that book up for $1 every day of the week. Some of the newer books I picked up from Marvel. Absolute Carnage number 4. Spider-Man, the Abrams number 2. And I have not read this one yet, but apparently there is an official first appearance in this book. And then X-Men number 1. And like I said in my last video, I'm just not impressed with any of these covers. I mean, look the way Bagley did Magneto's head. Like, it just looks goofy. And I have to say, there was hardly any regular cover variants that I was just impressed with this week. I did end up getting some of the cards that came along with it. So I haven't opened them up yet, but you know, it's like a little pack of cards. It's got the little decoder stuff on the back. So yeah, I'm on the fence if I should open it or leave it in the package. The only other DC book I picked up this week was Teen Titans 35. I just really enjoy that cover. I've been enjoying the story as well, but I saw that cover, and like I said, if it was just one skull over, it would have been like a Guns N' Roses homage. But the two books that we're going to be reviewing today, the first one, I actually reviewed number 1 for y'all a few weeks ago, and that is Something is Killing the Children, number 2 from Boom Studios. I really enjoy the red in that cover. Tinian is writing this, and I believe Tinian's actually the one that's going to be coming on to write the Batman series after Tom King's gone. So if you didn't read number 1, basically the premise is there's this monster that's something is killing the children. So they found a whole bunch of kids in certain areas. There's still several that are missing. And lo and behold, this woman shows up, and that's what she's there to take care of. She's there to try to take care of whatever's killing the children. So it starts off, you got this guy, you can tell he's kind of oversleeping a little bit. And he gets up and he goes, and basically he has a dialogue with his mother. They're both talking to each other about how the other one looks like crap because they're not getting enough sleep. And the reason being is, one of the kids that is missing is this woman's daughter and his little sister. So obviously they're not sleeping much because they don't know where their loved one is. Anyway, back and forth, she's asking if he can go set up some flyers at his place of work. He works, he's like a manager at a restaurant or something like that. He kind of complains. You know, he says they don't really like me doing that. But she talks him into it. He leaves the house, and he hears something. He turns around to see what it is, and lo and behold, there's our beast right there, like just kind of standing right over him. And I'm like, and then it cuts to this scene, which I love how they do this. The something is killing the children. And so I'm thinking, okay, we're about to get heavy right off the get-go with this book. But then it just cuts to him going to work. So you see, here's our huntress, our vampire hunt, not our vampire hunter, but our monster hunter, and the one kid that survived the attack. They're with each other right now. They're walking into Applebee's, and it just so happens to be his place of employment. So she goes up and she's basically asking him, like, hey, do you mind if, I leave my stuff in one of your booths? I'll pay you some money. I'll even order food. And he's kind of like, I'm not supposed to. But she slips him a $50 bill and he's like, okay, done. So basically, this whole panel is just her and the kid kind of having back and forth, dialogue. The kid has a whole bunch of questions. She doesn't really want to answer that much, so she's really a short answer. But basically, she whips out this map. And what they're going to be doing is mapping out all the different locations of where the bodies were found, the houses of the missing kids, etc., etc. A woman comes up and takes their order. And the kid asks, have you done this before? And then it cuts to a scene where to some of her former battles that she's had, I guess slaying monsters. So basically, the woman who takes their order, she goes back to the guy and she's like, hey, you know who that kid is, right? That's the kid who survived. Like, he was a suspect in those kids' murder and they let him go. And who's that other chick that's with him? I've never seen her before. We don't think she's from around here. The guy gets a little suspicious, right? He's already on edge, so he goes there. And while he's walking up, they're saying, yeah, this is where this body was found. This is where your house is. I don't know where this house is. That's one of the missing kids. And he's like, I can help you there. He goes, that's my house. He goes, that's my little sister that's missing. And then, so now he's all in full-blown, like, what the hell is going on mode. He's like, who are you? What are you doing? And she's like, look, we're leaving. I'm getting my bag. Don't worry, you can keep the money. And the kid goes to grab the bag, and her knife falls out. And so now the guy's extra suspicious. He's like, what the hell? Are these possibly the killers? This woman? The stranger that shows up in town. She's got a knife. All these kids are missing. Anyway, she has to put him in his place. She puts him in an arm hold. And she's like, look, I don't want any trouble. I don't want to cause a scene. I definitely don't want to hurt you. I'm letting you go. And I'm walking out of here. Well, obviously the first thing that he does once he lets her go is he goes and calls the cops. So they go outside. She tells the kids, hey, someone's going to be coming and talking to you. Tell them the truth. The worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to think that you're crazy. She goes back to her hotel, and sure enough, the guy's like, yeah, you had a call. And she goes, yeah, I'm not surprised. And he's like, hey, I don't want any trouble. I guess he knows the cops are about to come. So she goes in her room, and she's talking to this doll. And she's like, basically, I need to know where it's whatever this thing is, it's probably stashing these kids as food somewhere else. But before I go in and try to find them, I need you to think really hard about what we're actually dealing with. And she asks if it does understand, and this doll responds, yes. Alright, now it kind of reminds me of one of the Fugly dolls, but the doll talks. Sheriff rolls up, and he sees like all this looks like tentacle shadows underneath the door, and he's like, he can hear stuff, and he's like, what the heck's going on in there? We don't want no funny business. And she's like, there's nothing funny going on in here. And she opens the door and she says, now what seems to be the problem? And you got some type of being, or maybe monster, or I don't know what it is in the background. Apparently it has something to do with that doll. So maybe the doll is just like its vessel or something like that. And that's how it ends. Like I said, I like the cover. I like the concept of the story. This issue was just a little slow-paced for me. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but the one thing that's got me really questioning what's going on is in the very beginning, he sees the monster. Now, did he really see it? Was he hallucinating it? Is it something even deeper? Is that, we're guessing we're looking for a monster, but what if that he's seeing himself in this? I don't know. I'm getting deep there. But yeah, other than that, it was really kind of slow paced. I'll stick with it for issue number 3, but if issue 3 is just as slow paced as this one, I might have to drop it. I might have to drop it. Which is a shame because I've actually kind of enjoyed what I've read so far. But yeah, Something is Killing the Children, number 2. Now the next one is a new book. It's a number 1 from Image. This is from Hine, Haberlin, and Van Dyke, and that is The Marked, number 1. Now I just heard that this book, or this comic, might have just been optioned for TV. So, with the option news, and if it does happen, plus I'll go ahead and tell you my opinion, it's an awesome book. This one might be one that you might want to go grab now while you can. Your LCS may still have copies of this at cover price, but I expect this one to go up in the near future. So how this one starts off is basically there's this scene where there's this fire going on. You see this girl kind of covered in fire. She's got like this phoenix tattoo on her back, and she's in pain, and she's like, you know, what happened to my eyes? So pretty much she can't see anything. So then it cuts back into, you know, previously. All right, so now they're going to give you some backstory about what the heck just happened. And it shows our main character, which is, her name is Shashka, or Saskia. I say Sashka, that's how I read it. Rolled up into her coffee shop, her barista's giving her her usual. And she's got this flyer, and she's like, hey, you know, you really like to draw, right? Like, that's what you really want to do. You want to check this out. And there's this flyer that says, do you have the vision? Draw what you see in this picture. And the picture, to most everybody else, just looks like a common side profile of a woman. Sorry, my phone's going off there. And she's looking at it, and she goes, yeah, this is what I see. And she draws a picture of this phoenix. And the barista's kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I don't see how you get that out of that. Anyway, she submits it, and she gets an invitation to go to, I don't know if it's an art school or what. So she rolls up there, and she meets the boss lady. So this is who we presume is kind of the boss lady of this place. And, you know, right off the bat, she's pretty much saying, you know, come up to the sanctum. She's introducing to these two people, Kismet and Dahlia, who are these older folks dressed in all weird garb. And basically, they pretty much tell her that, hey, we know that you have the gift because of what you sent us. We haven't had one of those in some time. So they're basically telling her that, you know, if this is what you want to do, we're going to give you a glyph. And basically from here, they kind of tell the story of their group. Do they give themselves a name? I think they do. Yeah, I can't see what the name of the group is, but it's this organization that's been around for generations and generations. And as this woman is about to inscribe her, which is basically giving her a tattoo, while she's doing that, she's giving them the history of their group. And basically it goes back to times where this group has used their powers to fight evil for generations. So, you know, here's back like almost like Middle Ages stuff. Looks like they fight the dragon. This more is like looks like more Asian Empire type stuff. This looks like the pirate days. And you'll notice that most all of them are all women, and they all have these tattoos. And then it gets into World War II. So apparently they were in World War II fighting the evil forces, where Hitler, you know, was investigating a lot of supernatural stuff, and he collected a lot of these artifacts. And he pretty much kind of opens up this little gate of hell type thing, or something similar to that. They fought that. They finally won because of this one person had what they called the Omega Glyph. Won the war for him, but also died in the process. But then the U.S. government came in and collected all those artifacts that Hitler collected, and some of it, one's called the Stargate, and it's hidden underneath the Pentagon. So she gets her tattoo, little phoenix tattoo on her back there. And then she goes meets the crew, the rest of the people that are, part of this group. And instantly they're doing magic. They're touching their glyphs, and they're making her hair change, making her outfit change, making her whole appearance, They're pretty much using this to get themselves ready so they can go party on the night. And there's this special little club that they can go. And I guess it's for people who have magic only. And they go in there, and she has like the best time of her lives. Like they all hear the music like internally in their head. And she just, she's just enthralled with everything that she's seeing. So the next day, boss lady comes in. She goes, look, I don't mind you having fun, but you're here to focus on your art. So it gives her a studio, and then it shows her she's practicing all of her art and everything like that. And then one of the other girls is saying, sorry, that was my dog there. Says that she is using this different form of magic called hybrid magic. And she shows, it's like all kind of mechanical looking. It's actually pretty neat looking. I don't know if you can see that or not. And basically saying that, that the old timer stuff is, it's more traditional organic magic. This is new. This enhances your magic abilities and everything like that. And she gives the girl one. So she gives the girl her own little hybrid glyph. And it turns out it's given her like power beyond what she had before. And she kind of loses control. And that's when it cuts into where the fire happened and burned her eyes out. And the boss lady's not happy. She goes, this was Lisa's fault. They find the girl, and they're like, you're using hybrid magic. Now we told you that's a no-go. And she's younger, she starts back-talking her, she tries to show off, like, look at all the cool stuff I can do. And the boss lady's like, about to put her in her place. She gets angry, and all of a sudden, boom, she knocks her out. It's a pretty cool panel right there. So they bring her back to the house, and she's like, no, she's done, she's out of here. We're taking your tattoos away from you, or your glyphs, and you're getting out of the house. And another woman steps in. She goes, sorry about my phone. Some of the woman shows up, and she's like, hey, she was mine to look after. I'll take care of it. And there shows a scene where you think she's going to take care of it. Now, this gets into the Pentagon. So now the government type of stuff. So this guy who was in the club, he was hitting on the girl, she shunned him off. He goes to the Pentagon building, and he's like, look, I have these abilities. I know you're looking for people like us. And he's trying to show him how he's like a pyrokinesis or pyrokinetic, and he's like failing miserably. And he's like, oh, wait, but I do have something that might be of use to her. And brings her to the girl's house who just got kicked out. And the government guy's like, really, is this just a joke? And then somehow the word Stargate got mentioned. And she's like, wow, Stargate really does exist? And then she reveals that she still has her magic. The woman never took her tattoos away. She just cloaked them. So, there's obviously some more. I can't spoil everything. That's the general gist of this book. I really, really enjoy this book, y'all. I thought it was original. The artwork is just fantastic. I mean, I really enjoyed the artwork. And it's rare that I find a book that has pretty much an all-female team that I actually enjoyed. But I enjoy this book. I give the book probably an A- because of the reasons I just mentioned. So yeah, this is one I would highly recommend. But with that being said, let me know what you guys thought about my pickups, the reviews. What books did you pick up this week? What books should I be reading that's that you did not see on this list today. I would love to know what you guys are reading and what you recommend as well. So with that being said, I hope all of y'all have a great weekend. And if you do happen to go out looking for some books this weekend, I wish all of y'all happy hunting.